Welcome to the Slade and Wade podcast. This is where we discuss all things nerd and geek culture.
I'm Wade. I'm an anime and movie lover.
And I'm Slade, and I'm a gaming and tech specialist.
When we come together, we make this podcast, and we have a good time doing it.
And we don't happen to hate each other at the same time. So strap in, get your popcorn ready, and listen to the Slade and Wade podcast. Welcome to the Slade and
Wade
podcast. We're your fucking
podcaster
mercs that talk about all the beautiful things of geek and nerd culture around the world. And in this podcast, we talk about Invincible and the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen shit, move the fuck on.
Time codes are in the description.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about Invincible first, and then we're gonna talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
We're gonna start light, but
everyone fucking dies.
Right,
all right, move on.
Invincible, man, seems like it has the most generic plot, and that it's just gonna be a coming of age superhero story. Guy gets powers.
You think
guy
it's pretty much
villains?
So Mark Grayson is invincible. Yeah. That's the story.
Yes.
That's what everyone's you're following the story of Invincible, and he's a Viltrum, like his father.
Viltrumite,
yeah. Yes. And like his father's called Omni-Man. And Omni-Man is pretty much, you could say, he's the Superman of the story, right? He has all these powers. He doesn't have laser beam. He doesn't have frozen breath. He doesn't have all the overpowered OP stuff.
Super strength.
He's definitely strong, though.
You know,
he's really strong. And
practically very incredibly durable. They're not invincible.
Right.
Quite the contrary. But,
indeed.
You know, they're very durable.
Yes. And you do have the Justice League trope of, they called the Guardians of the Globe, which is just a collection of Guardians that happen to be really closely resembles to what Justice League is. You do have your Wonder Woman, aka War Woman. You do have
you have a Flash.
You have a Flash, Red Rush. You have Immortal, which I don't know who Immortal will be. Would he be Superman?
Immortal is also kind of Superman-ish, but maybe right? Shazam.
Shazam, maybe. Oh yeah, kind of Shazam-ish, yeah.
Except like Black Adam.
Yeah,
because he's lived for thousands of years.
Exactly. Yeah, true. What, Darkwing or Blackwing? Is it Darkwing?
Darkwing,
right? Darkwing is Batman, very much. And the other ones, I don't.
And actually, fun fact: in the comics, he does have an apprentice, and he might come into the story later.
Ooh,
so.
Interesting.
But yeah,
that guy becomes Darkwing Part 2.
That guy ain't coming back.
For sure.
He currently lives in the Guardians of the Globe headquarters as a smear on the wall.
Yeah. So there's the spoilers. Omni-Man comes through, calls in the whole entire Guardians of the Globe, and they think that Omni-Man's mind controlled. Everyone's first impression is like, he must be mind controlled. Nope. This man decides to give the ass whooping of the day and murders every one of the Guardians of the Globe. Why?
Right.
You don't know why in the first episode. That's the whole thing. And
he literally, I mean, it's brutal, but also like he takes some hits too. Like,
for sure.
They kind of gang up on him, and they like
Red Rush did a good amount of damage, honestly speaking. If he didn't have
he broke his hands on his chest.
He was
he bruised his chest up.
So Red Rush was the first one to die. His head was getting squeezed out by Omni-Man. But while his head was getting squeezed out, he was punching Omni-Man's chest. And it was doing a decent amount of damage that Omni-Man was actually choking up. It was not him just like, whatever.
He was getting bruised.
He was getting bruised. And to the point where Fred Rush couldn't even punch him anymore. He had to start punching him with his own wrists. So like
his stubs,
his stubs, whatever was left,
which is crazy because before this scene, I'm certain was not in the comics. I could be wrong, but it's Red Rush and his girlfriend, actually his wife, sitting, and they're having a picnic together, and they're just talking, and Red Rush is saying that, you know, like a moment is kind of like an eternity for him. Like, you know, he processes information so quickly. That, you know, it's agony to be to be in a conversation and not multitask, because he ran off and took care of a couple villains in like 2 seconds, and it came right back in the middle of their conversation. So
yeah, for us to
imagine,
visually see him punching, it's actually a lot of punches being pushed against Omni-Man's chest.
yeah,
And he's like looking at time being stopped pretty much. And he's kind of like flashing away or Quicksilver. So
yeah.
for Omni-Man to survive that, Jesus Christ. This man's powerful.
He was barely affected at that point.
Yeah.
He was also fighting Immortal and Warm Woman at the same time.
Yeah.
But nobody really stacked up to him. He proceeds to systematically just destroy them. He takes Darkwing, slams him on the ground, bloody splatter everywhere.
Done.
Yeah. Like he rips off Immortal's head with like a karate chop.
Yeah.
Yeah, this water guy blasts him, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he's the bootleg Aquaman and doesn't do jack shit.
Yeah.
Then you have the interesting character who I guess I forgot. He was
that's like the Martian Manhunter.
He's a Martian Manhunter, but he has the ability to wrap someone. So he was pretty much using like he was a straitjacket for Omni-Man. And that was the only time they really started just punching him, like decking him out and giving some good hits on him. But even then, he was like, fuck that. He was going God mode. That was my favorite part. My favorite part was when he just smashed War Woman's face to the ground.
I was like, honestly, knowing what happened and watching this, like I was shook because like it kind of does come out of nowhere in the comics. I think it's presented a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Like, and he kind of like at first, like from what I remember, it's like just like heroes were just dying one by one. I think now that I looked at it again, like I think that like they did call everybody, and like it was just an emergency at the Guardians of the Globe headquarters, and then like you just see everybody dead.
Right.
Like I don't remember like seeing this whole fight. Like this whole fight is crazy.
Yeah, I think the reason why they did this is because the first part of episode 1 was kind of slow. And it was, I think a lot of people, the first thing everyone would say, oh yeah, it's kind of cool. It might be like a kid's movie, a kid's show, or maybe like Young Justice. Like, okay, you're hitting the Teen Titans thing, but they wanted something that just grip. And since Amazon was really like coming off from the peak of Boys, which is another superhero show that has a bunch of violence in it, they're like, yo, we have to have something that kind of grabs the attention of our viewers and like, I gotta see what happens next, or like what the fuck happened, like why is this happening right now? But showing Omni-Man, I was like, what the fuck, this guy's supposed to be Superman. He just killed everyone.
It does a lot more for you if everybody was just suddenly dead. Like I don't think it would be dramatically effective. So I could see why they didn't go that route.
The snap kill, the way he
twisted
snapped
the head off.
He also snapped the neck of War Woman, and she just coughed her. It's really gory.
Yeah, she coughed up blood all over Kate. Oh my god. Yeah. So you see the art style and you're like, oh, this is gonna be like Teen Titans. Like, they're not gonna show blood.
Yeah, or DC.
Nope.
Like nothing. Nope. All gore.
They show full decapitations, full bloody messes. Like it is real as cartoons get, man.
And that's just episode 1.
I don't even want to call it calling it a cartoon is like an insult.
Yeah.
It's not an anime, but like, man, it is.
I feel like
it is some adult animation.
Yeah,
bro.
It's definitely an adult animation. I feel like it's more like a shonen, and then also like a really gruesome DC. Like,
I think
I don't know, DC animated is like the best.
I've seen DC animated stuff, and like, there's one where Wonder Woman cuts out her eyes, so she could fight Medusa. Like, there's some dramatically stuff like brutal stuff going on. Yeah, and there's some Batman stories that get like very violent, very gory.
So,
but yeah, this is like even more than that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's just episode 1. Episode 2 and the rest of the episodes continue off the story of Invincible, aka Mark, and he starts to get a handle of his superpowers. And
mind you, Mark is unaware that Omni-Man is a dickbag for the entire season.
He doesn't know that he killed the fucking Justice League. He doesn't. He's like, oh, they died.
But
what shit?
Now, what I can assure you is not in the comics is that Debbie, Mark's mother, starts to put it together in the TV show. In the comics, she doesn't know until everybody else does, and neither does Cecil, and neither does art. Like nobody
Wow.
knows except for Omni-Man, of course, and the Immortal when they put him
Mm,
back together. Nobody
interesting.
knows what he did except for those two. I mean,
Huh.
Damien Darkblood starts to put it together, but
But he gets
Damien
casted
Darkblood
away.
is not as he's not as important in the comics as he is in the TV show.
Oh, okay. So
So
they pulled off
so
kind of
yeah,
like a MCU on the comic side.
yeah,
So they kind of retrofitted it for
yeah,
what they think
because
might be better for TV.
it makes actually a lot more sense
Hmm.
with Cecil appearing throughout the season,
Yeah.
as opposed to he showed up and was kind of a shock to Mark after the whole fight, and
Hmm.
he was like, "Yeah, hey, we're gonna help patch you up, and we're gonna set your mom up with some stuff, and all of that." But like, they had no working relationship before that, and
Oh, so
like,
it was like a
you know,
missing link. Okay, so
yeah,
that's good. They took like
yeah.
what they had on the comics and try to improve on it. And oh,
That satellite laser scene surprisingly never happens either, which that was amazing when Omni Man gets hit with the satellite beam that
oh,
Cecil had.
dude, yeah. All right,
Yeah,
so
and the
fast forward.
teleporting bit, like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We're gonna fast forward. Okay, so fast forward that. I wanted to talk
Yeah, let's
about
get to the
episode.
good stuff. We're not gonna give you a play by play.
Oh yeah, but I do want to say
But
this. You don't know the fucking power of Omni Man until episode 2. They're getting attacked by these aliens that keep on attacking the city, onwards and onwards. They go
the
back.
Flaxens.
So Omni Man comes through at the last time they visit the city and goes through their portal. He just flies
Yeah.
through and destroys the entire planet. Like, he is that
Yeah.
stupid fast.
Which again, I don't know if they showed it in
Like,
the
look at this. Like, it's
in the
it's,
in
it's
the
insane.
comics. I don't know that they showed that either.
But I
Like,
just feel like that
yeah.
itself shows how much power he has, and no one could touch him. This man,
Yeah,
it,
he was there for a long time and they just like eventually like
yeah, they had to
were
let him
like,
go.
"Hey, let me make a." Yeah, and then they get crushed anyway. And thanks to the biology of Viltrumites, any man could live for thousands of
He's
years.
fucking Goku.
He's a pure-blooded Viltrumite.
He's Goku.
Uh, so yeah.
This man is like,
I think Debbie was younger in the comics. They definitely like make her look like
well,
she
they show scenes of her being young, but yeah, she
yeah.
holds up. It's been 20 years, bro. Come on.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no. Nobody squeezes out a full-grown child and doesn't have a little bit of wrinkles.
oh, of course, you know, you gotta have and it's only minimum, bro. She only has like what the Itachi eye bags. That's it. That's nothing
Yeah.
compared to what we've seen for other characters.
Man.
So
Yeah, we can talk. We could talk about the show forever, man.
yeah, because we could go one by one, but we're literally gonna go to the meat and potatoes of the show. The whole entire show is amazing. There's a great fight scenes. There's great moments. There's great like holy shit. But
Yeah,
the last episode, episode 8, is
climax,
just
baby.
the most brutal son and father moment ever since Dark Vader.
Mind you, in like episode 2, they were like having this nice wholesome game of catch around the world,
right.
and they're talking, and he's helping him figure out his powers, and he's saying, "Hey, I want to hang out with my girlfriend." And Omni-Man's like, "Ah, yeah, sure, okay." And now cut to episode 8. This man is holding his head against a train.
He's holding
and
his son's head against a fucking train, and his body is so strong that is causing everyone's body to destroy and disintegrate in front of him. All the blood and carnage. This is
organs, just like no, it's horrible.
It's
and again, this was one panel in the comics where they just crash into a train, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's none of this like hold your head and see how much death I'm making you cause.
Yeah.
Like
this was torture for Mark. Like this was like pure like you're fucking worthless if you
like,
wanted to.
Could you imagine? Yeah. Could you imagine? Oh my god! And now I see all these memes where you have Omni-Man at the end of the fight. He's sitting on top of on top of Mark, and he's doing like this, like, "What are you thinking, Mark? What are you thinking?" So like,
there's so many memes of him just beating him up, and like, what the fuck do you think you're gonna do, huh? Huh, CJ?
Bro, my man saves this dude from an airplane. Right? Like brings him down the ground, like, hey man, like you're gonna be okay. Oh yeah, that was crazy. And Omni-Man just shows up
Yo,
behind him and crushes
and
his
crushes
skull in
head.
front of him.
Oh
He's like,
my.
oh, you're saving people for what?
For what?
You just do that.
This
Like,
man just shows
so
pure.
brutal.
Okay, we gotta highlight the most important part though.
I like how
He called his wife a pet. Iron Man called Debbie a pet. And I think everyone was okay with him being killed. And we thought, okay, he might be just having a moment. But when he said, what do you think of Mom? I love her. She's more like a pet to me.
her like a
pet.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what the fuck?
that line isn't in the comics either, bro. It was like it wasn't specifically a pet.
Yeah.
It was like she doesn't mean that much to me. It was like she's not that important to me.
Yeah, she's not.
But the pet thing was like, wow,
right.
This man has like no humanity
at all.
Like this man has no, but he does get it eventually.
He does, yeah. So eventually, at one point in the scene, he continues to beat Mark to the pulp. Like,
right.
I feel like this man just needed clear eyes.
Oh yeah, you got to the meme part.
I feel like this man's eyes were so red that was causing him pain from Immortal.
Well, because Immortal was squeezing his eyes out, which is probably the best way to.
We missed that whole part. So Immortal literally's the most impactful thing Immortal did, besides saying, "We believed in you," was jabbed his fingers into his eyes, and it was the only thing that kept on being consistent throughout the whole entire show. Red eyes. Yeah. And it was like, yo, bro.
Well, aside from the literal blood on his hands.
Oh yeah,
throughout the whole episode,
this guy's murdered a bunch of people.
Which really just helps to hammer it down. Could you imagine Superman walking around with blood all over his costume?
No, dude. Was this injustice?
No, it would never happen. Yeah, that's the only way it would happen. Yeah.
But this man,
brutal,
continues to beat up his son. And the only way he stops is because because Mark loses a bunch of teeth. He reminds himself of when Mark was young, when he had no teeth in his front and he was playing baseball. That's the only time he sympathizes and like, you know what?
He was just a normal kid.
Yeah.
He kind of just was like, this is a waste of time. Like, he's growing up, whatever. He's gonna get powers. None of this means anything. When he finally like realizes the joy of being a father and watching him actually play, he starts to get into it. He starts to like, be affected. He starts to feel love for his son, and it's heartbreaking because in real time right now the man is sitting there in a bloody pile. Like
he's like, why, Mark? Why?
Inevitably he gets back up.
Yeah.
He just flies out of there. What are you gonna have in 5,000 years?
I'll have you, Dad. He's like, fuck. And I think if people didn't notice is that, and I think like people are like, oh, he's evil. He actually started sympathizing right there because when he left, he was crying when he left. He was not like, it was just not
which
him leaving.
Yeah, they do a good job of showing that here.
I do want to get to what you were about to say. Fuck Amber.
Yeah. Yeah, Amber is literally the worst character ever written.
Fuck Amber,
it starts off great, like, hey, cool. She's black, she's very like
fine black lady. Like, great. Yeah.
She's very like staunch. She's very like, nobody's gonna mess with her. Like she stands up for herself,
independent.
And she, she likes our guy Mark.
Yeah.
But throughout the course of the show, Mark keeps leaving to deal with superhero stuff. And she gets increasingly mad about it.
Yep.
And
then she knows that he's a superhero.
And eventually she kind of figures it out.
Yeah.
But she's still mad at him. And
my
knowing
man says,
that he's going,
it's a secret identity, but you didn't trust me. I trust you now. You think I'm going out with you for the first 2 weeks? I'm gonna tell you I'm a superhero, bitch. What? Like, yo. Like, not even my best friend knows. And he knew because his boyfriend was dying. That's how he figured that shit out. Like, what the fuck? No, man.
Yeah. By the way, can I say they handle that a whole lot differently here. Obviously, it was a different time
Also, I didn't
when
like
they
his best friend,
originally.
by the way. I didn't like his best friend.
Oh, really?
His
You didn't
best
like him?
I didn't the
They
dude literally saved him and his boyfriend and Amber, came back, and then
Mhm.
his first reaction like, "Oh, what superpowers do you have? Okay, cool." He realizes Amber is like saying "fuck you" because you left the scene even though he was there. And instead of saying, "Hey, you should
Mhm.
talk to her, like figure shit out," he's talking about, "Yo, dude, uh, fuck all that. You got powers? Like, yo, I'm trying to handle my emotional relationship with Amber
I
because
mean
she doesn't know I have superpowers
I
yet."
mean, it would be a lot to deal with,
Like,
Like, dude, his boyfriend got carved up
no, but it was
and
before.
turned into a
It was
robot.
before that though, bro. It was
Oh, it
before
was
that
before
he
that.
started acting like that, and then after
Yeah.
there, he's like, "Oh, if you didn't come in sooner, you could have seen my boyfriend." Like, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. But then you were not helping me in my relationship with Amber, so fuck you.
Yeah.
That's what I've said.
So
I mean, whatever.
so in the comics, by the way,
Yeah, how's it different?
it's handled a lot it's handled a lot differently with him because
Mhm.
he's in the closet for
The
the
entire time.
majority of the beginning of the anime, yeah.
Okay.
Of the anime, of the comic. And actually he briefly dates Adam Eve.
Okay.
And it's also like he's fascinated by superpowers.
Hmm.
It's also kind of implied that he had a little bit of crush on Mark for a time
Really?
in the
In
comics.
the
Yeah.
comics? Okay.
And like there's a couple scenes. There was like a recurring gag where he would fly him around
Yeah.
and like you know, Mark would feel kind of weird about it, but like he was enjoying it, and it's
Mhm.
just like, it was weird the way they dealt with it in the comics. They used it more as a joke
Mhm.
than a serious, this is a person who's having, who just happens to like uh the male gender.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
like so they definitely deal with it better in
Then
the
TV
animated
show?
show.
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
So
So,
yeah,
um,
that's a whole thing.
yeah. So a lot of stuff happens in the show, and definitely way different than the comics. But what do you think overall? What do you think of the show for first season? And we know it's already been renewed for 2 more seasons. Um, what do you think? How would you rate it? What do you think they should improve on? I already have
It's
a couple of things I would
it
say they would improve
it
on.
ca- it cannot be lower than a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
What I would say is, again, even though most of the changes they made from the comics were better
Yeah.
or were good changes,
Yeah.
there's still some story points like Amber,
Yeah.
and there's some things that they really left on the table to in terms of story
Hmm.
that they could have gone deeper with in the first season.
Like what?
There's a whole character that is hinted and
Hmm.
implied that's in the comics that would have already showed up,
But
that
he
they've
never
totally
does.
left out.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's gotta be a part of it. He
Hmm.
has to be. Black guy too.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna spoil that. But yeah, there's some things that they can do better in the show. And obviously, the big thing is the animation is sometimes amazing and other times rough.
Yeah. I've.
I
That's what I say
I
too.
I
I would deduct the whole point just for that. I'll give it like a half point for the animation, a half point for some weird inconsistencies with some of the characters. Like maybe they're just that blunt and maybe that oblivious, like Amber. But
Yeah.
um, and like some of the other characters too. Like, but the animation at times is like fantastic and top tier, and other times it feels
Yeah.
like, hey, here's him flying, and let's just take him floating around. It's just a still
Yeah, in the
version of
3D
him.
background,
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
just like, what the fuck is going on there? And then
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, sometimes the character animation is better than the background animation,
yeah,
and other times the background animation is better than the than
and you could tell
character
that
animation.
they were either rushed or they
Mm,
had to go for some kind of deadline because of the whole weekly cycle of it instead of how it's like with
right,
Netflix where they
and
release it at once when it's ready. They had to like rush for the next week and make sure things are polished or
right,
any changes they want to
and
change, they make
I
changes.
honestly don't even know what what they could do better.
I
but they
think
just
I
have to
think
be more consistent.
yeah, I think they
Like
should just make
it
it.
just felt really like random
I
at
feel like
times.
honestly, for them, they should take the approach of being like Netflix and release it all at once, but not in that sense where you have it when you're releasing it the first episode, all your episodes are already ready. You just gotta polish it up. That's it. Like or like make minor tweaks in there. But you're already set. You
Right.
don't have to worry about making additional stuff for the next week episode, like in a real TV show. You have this like
Right.
sense of like choosing what deadline you want and all that. You should do it because every single animation in the first episode of the last fight with Omni Man versus the Guardians of the Globe, the first character's face was super detailed, and then it got less detailed and less drawn out as the characters' faces got through. It went from full on like camera shift, face animated with different effects happening, like blown out air, to then less and less, and it just became static. Like it was like a
Right.
comic book clip. So I feel like that was like, and then there was like some things like, hey, Red Rush was moving around, but it was like a static figure just appearing with like a red blur behind him, and that's it. There was no like
Yeah.
impact of him running fast in the air or anything like that. I noticed it and I was like, yo, what the fuck was that? But it was not as bad, or it didn't detract so much of the actual story and plot. Like it was not like, dude, I can't see this mouth moving, or there was still like a lot of emphasis on the story and direction of it that it made up for it. But I think they still have room to improve. And I think that just overall, just giving them more time, letting the animation team to do their work and giving the time to polish it would do wonders. Like it would just make it more top tier.
I mean, I think maybe it's just a matter of experience.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of top tier cartoon animation studios. Like,
right,
we have some good things. Obviously, the teams that work on like Avatar
right,
and stuff like that, like they're really good. But I think as they progress with seasons,
mhm,
it's naturally going to get better. I
right.
mean, the budget's certainly going to go up after this
Oh
season,
yeah, for sure.
but
Yeah,
budget always doesn't always equal quality. So I think
mhm,
it's going to be a matter of them taking in the feedback and then like going forward, like being like, all right, we're gonna really make sure to give you more frames between this action and that action, and we're
right.
gonna try and blend the character animation better with the background, and we're gonna do all of these things. There's some things that they do great.
Yeah,
Everything that involved the Mahler twins for me looked perfect.
yeah. The
But
Mollisons
like,
were spot on.
you know,
There's a lot of moments where it was just a flying that felt really weird. Like it was pretty
yeah,
like
a little janky.
it was like a character on a stick and it was just floaty, like
Actually,
move around like that.
Adam Eve, I believed more than anything. Like when she flew, I
Yeah,
believed her. I believed that she was flying.
yeah. Mark
It's just
had some
Invincible
moments.
sometimes
Yeah.
that, yeah, that looked a little bit out of place.
Hmm.
There was one scene with Omni Man where he shoots through the roof
Hmm.
of the house, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that happened."
Yeah.
Like I believe that. That like the sound design too. They with all the blood and gore, you hear the splatters. You hear like you hear the sounds of things breaking and
Right.
bones
Right.
cracking and stuff like that. Like they have excellent sound design. There's just
I
a
also
couple areas
yeah, oh,
that
yeah,
they
for
need
sure.
to
There's a
improve
lot
on.
of stuff that makes it way more immersive because of the sound design. Um,
Yeah.
like the first episode when he is literally grabbing the body of what you call it, I guess Martian Manhunter in a way, or not Martian Manhunter,
Yeah.
but whoever is it,
Yeah.
the see-through girl, and her ragdoll effect and just the water how it's splashing around.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
just like
Yeah.
holy shit. Like,
Yeah, I wonder what they did for all that. That was crazy. They
yeah.
they really
So I
again.
yeah
So overall, I would say it's a great show.
yeah
Solid 9 out of 10.
yeah same 9 out of 10
You'll
show.
you'll be better next season.
Yeah, for
I know
sure.
you will. But yeah, that's Invincible in a nutshell. It's
Now
great.
for a less violent and less gory show, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Uh, the whole
Yeah.
season's been out. We all saw it. We have some thoughts on it.
Look, this is a show that I think we both kind of were like both impressed and disappointed with at the
Yeah.
same time. There's a lot of things that they did right.
Hmm.
There's a lot of things that seem to be the result of a storyline that was supposed to go one way
Hmm.
and instead went another. Now, the middle episodes are a little dicey because of that.
Yeah.
But the first episode and the last episode have some very strong like elements in it.
Mhm.
Minus a couple little things.
Yeah.
Like the Falcon speech, it hit good at points. It went a little bit on too long.
Yeah, he
Like
just kept
nobody
like
like
once this
when did Captain America ever preach
right.
to people to, to
Yeah.
do better and to, like you could have actually that one part where he just says do better,
Yeah.
that would have been enough.
That would've
That
been
would have
enough,
been
and
it
he ended
would
right
have been
there
enough.
once the senator was walking
Yeah.
away. But he kept
Yeah.
on talking, and then the
Yeah.
senator said, "So what you want us to do? Do better." I'm like, "Can you give
There you
us the
go.
logistics to do it better? Like, can you give us some plans? Huh? Falcon?
No.
Captain America
I'm a
Falcon? What do
I'm
you
a
call himself?"
damn superhero.
"I'm
I'm a
damn
black man
superhero.
wearing a Captain
I just
America
got
shield.
my Wakanda armor suit that does not cover my forehead. I'm flexing over here. I'm gonna go ahead and fly with this beautiful ass shield." I'm like, "Okay, well, I gotta
That
deal
makes
with this."
sense.
Like, what? Like,
Makes sense. You're not a politician.
you're
Look,
not a politician. Yeah, exactly.
I
So,
I appreciate that. Look, he clearly sympathized with the Flag Smashers ideals, right?
right, yeah, for sure. He
So
understands.
he
Yeah,
is kind of feeling that. At the same time, Flag Smashers, they were kind of murderers,
yeah.
and they were
They
kind
couldn't.
of
He couldn't feel bad for it. And my thing is that I even said this when I was watching the show. How you pick up the flag smasher girl? I don't even know her name. The captain of the
Carly.
Carly. How you pick up Carly? You bring her back in the scene and you let her rest and all that. Yet you left your friend in the fucking down in the basement somewhere with a gunshot wound. Like, she's your friend, supposedly. You don't know she's the
Look,
power broker. You don't know if she's a
Sharon
villain
Carter,
yet.
man.
Yeah, Sarah Carter. Like, you don't know if she's a villain or not, but yet you left her with a wound in the fucking ditch somewhere. That threw me off
Look,
in the
a
last
lot of
episode.
things don't make sense. I
Yeah,
think a lot of things started with them breaking Baron Zemo out of prison,
that didn't make any
right?
sense to me at
It
all.
didn't feel like it was a necessary
Like a
choice that
valid
they
reason.
had to make,
Yeah.
especially for Winter Soldier, who was manipulated
Hmm.
by Zemo,
Right.
um, and still like took a lot of time to recover from that manipulation.
Yeah, and in the way
And
that Falcon was like, "You sure you're good with this?" Yeah. I mean, this man could say yeah when he's fucking manipulated. Are you literally like, "Okay,
yeah,
yeah, he said yes, I'm good with it." Bro, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
this
and then it continues from there
yeah.
because then Sharon Carter shows up and you're like, okay, um, hey, by the way, I never got a pardon, so I'm like kind of different now.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
and it's
fucking
just like,
John Wick of the fucking underground scene who has access to
yeah,
multiple
which
resources.
again, looking into Sharon Carter a little bit, she the actress that played her, she actually Emily Van Camp,
Mhm.
she actually did a show called Revenge, where she is very much like a dark character that does some shady stuff and
Mhm.
poisons people and kind of
Mm.
kills people and like it does some manipulative stuff.
Right.
So I can see how she can play that
Oh yeah, for sure.
two-sided
Yeah.
thing, right?
Yeah.
But the character of Sharon Carter had no indication that she was
I
dark
mean, she's
and,
been put on hold for multiple
manipulative.
movies, bro. Since
Yeah.
Civil War, we have not seen her.
But
So
apparently she was blipped, which like some people say
that
maybe
doesn't
she
make any
was, maybe
sense.
she wasn't.
No.
If she wasn't blipped, I get it 100% because she was in the
Yeah, if
world
she was
dealing with
you're saying
stuff.
that in
If she
6
was,
months, she came
yeah.
back and realized she is not pardoned, so then she becomes
And
the
then
most
she was
influential
able to get
character?
a foothold in the underworld to
Yeah,
become the
the
power
power
broker.
broker? No, fuck outta here. She was not blipped
That doesn't happen in
in
like a
6
year or
months. No,
2.
of course not, yeah. She was not blipped, and she was chilling as the underworld queen of the
It could be
underground
a
scene, like,
mistake.
no.
They've made mistakes in the past
Yeah,
with with timeline
mhm,
and character developments type stuff.
right.
Like there's an infamous part of the Spider-Man movie where it said 8 years later, but it didn't actually make sense with the timeline.
Yeah,
So sometimes the directors don't think about this stuff ahead of time because what everybody was freaking out about was that Sharon Carter was on a screen when they're talking about the people who were blipped.
Mhm.
and that's why everybody thinks like, oh, she was blipped.
Mm.
Who knows?
Well,
Right?
I think it's more like they couldn't reach her because she was
Yeah,
already on the
that's probably
underground, and she could have been, like, off the radar, so she didn't wanna have communication. She already had a vendetta against the United States and SHIELD and everything, so she didn't wanna have to do anything with it, so I could see her just
yeah,
plainly just ignoring her call or her whatever when they try to check in with her, and she's like, "Fuck those
yeah.
guys. I'm
I
gonna do
mean,
my
the
own
thing is,
thing."
there's a story there, and we
Right.
don't have it.
Yeah.
Much like Captain America going back and dropping off all the Infinity Stones. There's a story there. We
Yeah.
don't know it yet.
Yeah,
you know
that
that,
whole
that
blip of him just, like, coming back as an old man and still being alive, and
Mhm.
then staying with, uh, Carter and just being chilling there, and then it's like, "Hey, here's a fucking shield. I'm out. I'm still old, though. So I'm still alive, quote, unquote,
Yeah.
but I'm just no longer in the scene." I'm like, "Okay. So how's" I like, for me, when I see that, I'm like, "So you made sure everything else played out correctly? So there was 2 Captain Americas at one point? Like, same living in the same timeline, and you just made sure that you kept your
Mm,
life
Well,
isolated?"
it depends on how the time travel works.
Right, so it
If they
kind
went
of
into
yeah, there's a lot of
different,
things that
yeah.
are not really discussed and doesn't really make much sense unless
Well,
they have to, like, show it out. They
w-
have to do a lot of prologues to explain some things if people wanna know about it. But,
Loki that is currently airing may have some answers for us,
yes, yes,
but
Loki, which will be aired probably by the day we release
yes,
this or after we release this. Like, you know,
yeah,
it will
we're
have
probably
we I guess we'll get, like, a sense of the multiverse madness from Doctor Strange, a little preview of it with this, right?
uh,
Because
well, yeah, well, it's. I mean, everything's connected.
in
You
some
know,
sense, right?
we're now going to be 3 Disney Plus shows deep
Yeah.
with WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Loki. They're all canon and connected to
Yeah.
the Marvel universe.
This
So anything's really up for grabs
this is
between them.
now a valid, thing where they have to keep things in check and actually say, "Hey, this TV show, if you miss it, you're missing some information." Like, Agents of
Yeah,
Shield had some connections to the movies, but it was not really affecting the movies per se as much.
yeah.
Like, you didn't see any of the agents be like, "Oh, well, this happened in Agents of Shield, so now their person's this now." It
It
was not
was it
as
was
it was
it was
never as
always
big.
so flimsy.
Yeah, so
You know,
now
like
you
yeah,
have to see WandaVision, or at least know of what happened in WandaVision, and the same thing for Falcon and Winter Soldier, or quote
yeah.
unquote now Captain America and Winter Soldier. Um, and Loki to see what happens. Like, those things are gonna be mentioned definitely in the movies.
Yeah.
And
By the way, real quick, because the
yeah,
most important thing we totally skipped it.
okay. Let's
What
see.
do you think of Captain America's new suit?
So Captain Falcon, I'm calling him Dad. Fuck up Captain America. That makes no sense to me.
Falcon punch.
I feel like he has a cool suit, but his head is stupid. How you
Oh,
make this man have a awesome armor suit that would stand pretty much anything, but his
I,
forehead is a fucking welcome sign
I,
for a sniper
by the
shot to
way,
happen.
by
What?
the way, they needed to prove that. They needed to prove that that suit is vibranium weave.
Yeah,
When Carly was pointing the gun at him, Carly should have shot him,
yeah,
and it should have just bounced off that suit.
exactly. I think that was a missed
So
opportunity right there.
yeah,
And
because I don't know that he's protected everywhere but
no,
his
yeah,
head.
yeah.
I
I
don't
only
know
know
that.
was his wings when he took the shot from the car flying or the truck flying
Yeah.
towards
By,
him.
by the way, a helicopter bounced off this man.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It was a helicopter, sorry.
so,
So,
so
like, yeah. But I still think they should give his armor some kind of exoskeleton feature so he's still strong.
Mhm,
Not super, I mean, I guess close to superhuman, but not superhuman. Because honestly,
mhm.
if it was Captain America, he would have pulled that truck a long time ago. Like, this man had to
hey,
locking his wings
hey,
down, pull on the jetpack, pull on
hey,
full
hey,
force.
Johnny Walker
Yeah.
couldn't pull that up, and he has the serum, and he ripped Falcon's wings off. So he's very strong. so
Yeah,
I mean, I mean,
just throw this man to the serum. We need that.
by the way, okay, so we're jumping all over the place, but I
Yeah.
don't give a damn.
Oh yeah, fuck. We're fucking
Uh,
drinking. We're enjoying ourselves, and fuck that.
um,
So what's the next thing?
a
What do you want to?
U.S. agent,
Yeah, U.S.
Johnny
agent.
Walker.
Johnny Walker. Okay.
His characterization is horrible.
Yeah, they
Two
made
episodes
you want to hate
ago,
him for sure.
2 episodes ago, this man decapitated a human being with with the shield,
Yeah.
and 2 episodes later, he is had a redemption arc. I mean, I know that the director's intention was kind of to show a little bit of white privilege and a little bit of like, hey, I
I
kind
just
of get
want
away
to say,
with stuff, but
I
like
just want to
that's not
say,
clear. That shit is not clear.
is when you have a good ass lawyer that happens to be white as well, you could get through anything you want in life. like,
But
it's so crazy
like
though.
if
This
he was
man murdered people
if he
worldwide.
truly
Coverage.
if he truly had white privilege,
Yeah.
if he truly was like
Was it that though? I
vulnerable,
don't understand.
then
I think it was like
that
plot armor,
that's
honestly.
the director kind of commented that like, yeah, you're supposed to be mad that he got away with, all
Murder.
the stuff.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
But also like he had the most important thing taken away from him, which was his status as a military person. And then it
Yeah.
was kind of immediately given back.
Yeah, it
But
was.
that stripping down
Mm-hmm.
that they did when they when he stood in front of them and he had his broken arm and shit,
Mm.
and like they were telling him that he's no longer to operate as as a vigilante or as a hero or
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. Like, that was supposed to be his penance right there. That
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to be the thing that he had to deal with.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. He
No, he
doesn't
doesn't. He
deal
gets
with
a fucking lawyer that comes in right in the last minute. Hey, I want a challenge, so I'm taking on your case. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, just
Wait,
go
what are you
here,
talking?
do this. I'll get you a new suit. You're all set.
Oh, you're saying that we don't know what she is.
Bro, I don't
She
she definitely was like, hey, I'm a
is
lawyer, and she's definitely has access and pull to some
so
shit. I don't even know who
we're
she
talking
is, but
about Val.
yeah.
We're talking about Val, who is played by
Yo,
oh man,
yeah. So Elaine from South.
Julia Louis Dreyfus. There you go.
Oh shit.
Woo.
Oh man. Yeah,
Look, man, I got so many things bouncing around in this skull.
yeah. Uh
Uh,
yeah, she could fuck herself. She fucking saved his ass pretty much, I think.
so, well, look, we don't know what Val is. Val, I believe, is putting together the Thunderbolts. But yeah, she basically comes to him and is like, "Hey, like, I think what you did is the right thing. These guys, they need to dress you down. They need to like make you feel like shit, but like,
Yeah.
you know, that's their job. Whatever. Like, I got your back." I don't know if he's officially pardoned. I don't know if he's officially like, now back with the government, but
Mm-hmm.
he's still going to be heroing.
That's true.
Look, again, overall, it has problems. Again, I do think that there was a pandemic route that they were going and they had to cut all that stuff out. But
Yeah.
overall, it was enjoyable for me. I got to see a black Captain America who can fly and bounce helicopters off
His
their
fucking
wings.
helmet though is stupid, bro. Like this man could
That's
get
how it is in
shot.
the comics.
They gotta
Leave it alone.
they take the comics, improve on it, right? His fucking head is a welcome sign for a sniper, right?
Look,
This
it's the opposite with Steve Rogers and U.S. Agent, right? Because they have helmets that don't block the lower end of their jaw. Somebody could punch their jaw. Somebody could shoot them in the face.
yeah.
Like they'll still be dead too. So, I
Well,
mean,
yeah, but it's
but
superhuman.
then again, that wasn't even armor that they were
Right,
wearing.
but the thing is that
It's
this
like
guy has nothing protecting his chin either. So he has double the he has the different he is the black epitome of Captain America. He has double the disadvantage, bro. No
oh,
helmet, no chin guard.
look,
He's worse.
look,
Look at him,
I'm gonna
bro.
tell you something
All right.
that just might shatter your reality.
All right.
It's not real. They're having fun with it. Okay? And they gave us a comic book realistic outfit that's gonna make a lot of people happy after a season of like things going all over the place. So hey,
Yeah.
whatever, man.
All I
It was
know.
probably supposed to be 10 or 12 episodes. We
Yeah.
got 6. So we gotta we gotta be happy with what we got here. I give it an 8 out of 10.
I get a
It's
7.5
good.
out of 10.
That's oof, oof.
I give it
That's
that
coming in hot.
because even
I mean, that's a
though
pretty good rating. That's pretty good.
I think it's a good rating. It's not bad. It's
I'm
not 6.
I'm high on it because, I got Isaiah Bradley goggles, I'm like, I got stars in my eyes.
I
It's
could care less. Like they fucked up the middle part of the fucking season, and I know at one point in
honestly,
time we were talking about that. We're
I
like,
think
yo,
I
this
think
feels dry.
I'll be the only person in the universe to say this.
What?
Isaiah Bradley's story could have been stronger. Give me some flashbacks, baby. Give me some visuals. Give me more of him showing off his powers, not like moving plants around in his backyard. Like, give me a little bit more. Like I heard his story. I felt that.
Oh, of him as his old
show.
version of yeah. I mean,
Yeah. Show
sure,
don't tell,
yeah,
Like
and
they
it is,
showed him with his powers for a second.
yeah.
And it also doesn't 100% connect with the rest of the story because
Mhm.
they're kind of just like, oh, these guys are super soldiers. I heard of a super soldier. His name's Isaiah Bradley, and he hates me, and somehow I know where he lives. Like, uh,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
and
very flimsy to
and
me.
then they just say, hey, by the way, all is good because I got you a statue in the back room somewhere in some fucking museum that no one will care about. Like,
Like, I honestly thought like, yes, like everybody praises that. Yes, they told a very real kind of story. Like
yeah.
this is something that really like the Tuskegee Airmen. That was a real thing where they gave black people syphilis
Hmm.
because they were just like experimenting on them and trying shit on them. So like, you know, I can understand
Hmm.
where the story comes from, and it's very real.
Hmm.
But they needed to connect it better with the rest of the story, and they needed to like give it some
And this
more
is why I'm
room to breathe.
saying, and this is why I'm saying, I feel robbed with 6 episodes.
Yeah,
If WandaVision and had much more episodes, and it was like,
I
and
I
it was
feel
like,
like
I feel like there's more shit going on in this show, like real time happening than WandaVision. You
yeah,
know, it's like a TV show, comedy, all that, and it was good. Love WandaVision, but
I
there's
think they
a
were the Suicide Squad trailer editors. Like, like they got all the good action bits and they got like all this fun stuff that we like.
yeah.
But then like when it comes down to dramatic stuff, Bucky going to tell this man that I killed his son.
Yo, dude, yes. What?
I
Yo,
killed your son.
so
Cut.
okay,
He's out of there.
right. Yo, you've been becoming best
Like
friends with this old man. You feel bad because you killed his son when you're fucking brainwashed, and now you finally tell him, and you want to see the reaction of the father and actually have a moment and see how it will be handled. I feel like the director says, "Okay, we can't handle this shit. I don't know what will happen, so let's just cut this, all right, guys? We
no,
can't."
I feel like they had a whole scene. They sat there, they cried together, they talked some more.
Yeah,
They really like, went back and forth and there, he was like, "Look,
explaining it.
I
Yeah, like
can't
what
I
happened.
and I bet there was a moment where he was like, "Look, leave. I can't look at you. I can't have you here in front of me."
Okay.
And and then that was a very hard moment for Bucky to deal with, and he'd walk out, but no, we don't see any of
No,
that.
we don't at
Because
all.
what you do get an inkling of that when he's looking through the window and he sees him there with the girl that he was flirting with in the episode
Yeah,
at the end of episode 1, and and he just kind of walks away because he can't be there. He can't be a part of that right now.
yeah.
So like I get that. That's kind of there. But they need to make it clearer. People don't understand these things. They're
They
not
don't.
gonna see
This man
like
left the girl hanging, a
yeah,
beautiful Japanese woman with some sake and sushi and dumplings
sad.
because this
Big
man
sad.
was freaked out by his arm and thinking about some other shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Yo, I was, this like
Like
there was a lot of plot holes in the show, and that's why I said I wish it had more episodes to flesh it out. And I
Yeah.
understand time constraints and I send that, but dude, this fucking show was delayed alongside WandaVision, and WandaVision was done well. I feel like WandaVision was well executed. There's some also holes in there as well, but this one had more. And I feel like this one they kind of just rushed it in, and I didn't feel for the Flag Smashers. I felt like the Flag Smashers were just like one of those. It felt like Team Rocket at times, like old, like not even.
Right.
It was like, oh yeah, whatever. Flag Smashers coming in again, whatever. I didn't feel like, oh, this is like a freaking threatening presence, something big. I felt more
Yeah.
harm from the Winter Soldier and Falcon's kind of like handling of things and the plot holes surrounding them instead of that. Like,
Yeah.
it would have been much more big. Like for me, when John Walker was just like when he became evil, I'm like, oh shit, here we go. We got a super soldier that is military experience that could be a really good like evil cap. Nah, barely lasted.
Well, they had a great fight with him in the beginning of the next episode.
Yeah,
but he's almost immediately dealt with.
Yeah,
and then we see him putting the shield back together. Oh no, he's got a shield now.
Yep.
He's gonna be dangerous.
Yep.
Carly kicks that away like it's
nothing redundant. Oh, that shield
it gets destroyed.
That pepper mache shit that you just created for like multiple hours, done. Wasted my time.
Look, you gave us that Iron Man homage with him dunk, 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 and nothing.
Also, the superhero serum like that they got is kind of weird to me. They're strong, but then they're not super resistant to damage. But yet, some cases they are. It's kind of it varies throughout the whole entire show. Like in some cases,
yeah, it's a little inconsistent.
They get beat up by something like you. Like okay, they should handle that blow. No, they're dead. Like okay, and then the other time that they get punched in the face by other superhuman, yeah, she's fine or he's fine. What? But this person just literally died from just like a shove or something like that. So it's like,
I mean, also like I feel like they pull their punches with Sam because Carly was in a one-on-one with Sam.
Yeah.
If Carly wanted to, Carly could break Sam's bones like nothing.
Oh yeah, for sure. This would have been Invincible.
And she couldn't catch him.
Apparently, like I mean, I guess his jetpack was really fast, bro. You know,
it just goes to show that the true strongest power in the universe is talk no jutsu. You know, when you just say, "Hey, you don't want to do this," it makes the person not want to do.
The talk no jutsu, a powerful jutsu, raised and catered for multiple generations, causing multiple dilemmas to be resolved by communicating. Unnecessary dilemma, and
we saw this in Invincible.
Yeah,
with Mark Grayson. Now we see it in Falcon. At the climax with Carly.
It was heavily used in Falcon and Winter Soldier, though.
And it's like, hey man, don't shoot me. You know what? I don't think I'm gonna shoot you. Boom, boom. Oh shit, I've been shot.
Yeah.
My one weakness, bullets.
Right. Yo, I'm like, wow, so stupid, bro. It's so stupid. Anyway, I give it a 7.5. I enjoyed it, but
I might rehash my rating after a little bit of thought. But it was again, I got stars in my eyes. They fixed a boat together. They had
those moments are genuine and nice, but they should have been part of a longer episode series.
Yeah.
You made it,
and I needed, I needed more Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I did. It felt
there
like
wasn't enough of that.
The first episode was none of them. They were not together. The second episode they were together, but it was like, eh. And then the third episode was like, we were like, what's going on? We're halfway through the season, and we don't know if this is gonna be good or not. And then they step up the gears, and it gets kind of interesting. But then it's like, but how is she alive? Or like, why is this guy justifying her ideas if she just killed a bunch of innocent people?
Yeah, she blew up a building where like the other Flag Smashers were like clearly pointing out.
They were like, no, don't do it.
There.
And yet he's like, I understand your ideas and I want to activate my talk no jutsu right now. Please.
By the way, and hey, look, if you don't understand how severe that was, by the way, she also called Sam's sister and threaten her and her children.
This man still was emphasizing the use of talk no jutsu.
And by the way, that was the strongest point of the show, because in the next episode, the next scene, that Falcon and Bucky show up and like, yo, we're riding. Like he's all suited up and like, yo, like if we got to do this, we're gonna really have to do this.
Yeah, we gotta
like,
fight and
you don't
shit.
threaten my family.
Yeah,
and walk away.
Nothing like that. Nothing like
but
that.
But no, that gets washed over because Lamar ended up getting killed, and that was crazy. But
yeah,
it shows.
What I didn't get was like, oh, we're here going to stab you because we want to kill the Captain America. Oh shit, we see that we killed Lamar, and you're having a moment. Let's run away, but not stab you in the back with the fucking needle that was the fucking knife we're trying to kill you with. What?
Hilarious.
That shit has me. I was like, wait, you could just you were literally 6 people or whatever number. It was outnumbered. You're outnumbering Lamar, Captain America, and Falcon and Winter Soldier. And yet you fucking, once you kill Lamar, oh shit, we killed somebody. My bad. Deuces. Oh, but us killing a whole bunch of innocent people. Yeah, we're embracing that shit fully right now because it's for the fucking flag smashers. Raise our hands. Bro, what? Man. I feel like
One world.
Was it one? Is one world? One
world.
What? I don't forgot.
People.
I forgot. I could have cared less, bro. Like one world, what? What was it? One world, what?
Yeah, it's one world, one people.
One people. There we go. Fucking people. Well, yeah, one people. Yeah, you killed a fucking whole bunch of innocent people in the process.
I just love that part where she's like one world.
Yeah, and everyone's like
one world.
Oh shit. One people. My thing is that they all have superpowers.
Like, that's right.
They all have superhuman abilities, and they could literally jump her and rock her. Yet it doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't.
Hey,
the talk no jutsu is powerful, bro. The talk no jutsu is a powerful thing.
Look, if you can sway people's hearts,
you
can
the motivation, the power, the fire of the spirit. You can make them do anything. And then Sharon Carter in the corner.
Hope that today.
Sharon Carter is right in the corner with a fucking bullet in her side. Fuck that shit. Pop.
We hope that today we swayed your heart to hit that subscribe button and hit like.
Leave a comment.
Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts.
Is there 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts? I didn't know there was 5 stars. I didn't know there was a star thing. I thought you
there's a review
Uber.
system somewhere. Follow us on Spotify.
This has been an episode of Slade Wade.
Like and subscribe.
Hope you guys enjoy it. Do the usual. Leave, like, subscribe, comment, show your love. And we'll see you guys in the next time. Peace.
Deuces.